The latest event for Arknights China came out a couple of days ago, Breaking the Ice, and I want to do a quick video going over the patch notes, what's changed in the game, just to make you aware of what's coming up in about 6 months for Arknights Global. I will briefly cover the new operators. I've managed to pull the entire banner, and I will be doing more in-depth videos in future, and I will even do proper strategy guides and so on as they approach release for Global. Quick overview, Kiara, the free 5-star operator of the event, is a drone caster in the same vein as Click, and is roughly equal in power to Click. She has a few things that she does a little bit better than Click, and a few things worse. Things that are better, her CC is more reliable because she has an extra drone. Either drone plus her every attack has a chance of applying her CC, which in this case is cold, and if they're already cold, they get frozen, so that's more reliable than Click's stun. However, Click does do a little bit more damage and also has that increased range benefit, which in some situations I find Click to be more useful because of that increased range. It allows you to do some more interesting positioning, but it's not that big of a deal. They actually both work quite well together, really burning down an enemy, because you can layer on some real constant CC, and they do good damage while their skills are active. Without their skills, the damage is a bit weak. As for Aurora, haven't used her that much of the 3 new operators so far. I very much like her skills. She's a very simple version of the duelist defender type. Her first skill, having the resist ability, is extremely useful. Her first skill is actually, to me, the more interesting one, because having someone who can, on command, get an incredible amount of defense, increase the block count, and have resist is so useful. Think about those giant guys with hammers that will do a massive stun every few attacks. She will recover before they can walk through her. Obviously she counters things like freeze. Yeah, so I do find it quite good, and then her second skill does a lot of damage if you can get the enemies frozen. She's quite reliant on other operators for that to work. Now Genosis, he's the most interesting of the 3 new characters. He has S+ tier potential. My first impression of using him is his second skill is absolutely amazing. It's a very short cooldown, mass wide range AoE damage and CC, 3 to 4 seconds of frozen. His weakening debuff, which is common to debuff supporters, which increases damage taken, that doubles when the enemy's frozen. And it applies to all enemies within range, not just enemies that he hits. So again, as with the other operators, combos really well with other characters that can apply frozen. He's really, really good. I'm going to go more in depth with him and play around with him some more to see if he's really worth slotting into your schedule. But so far, my first impressions are very positive. And also, just a quick aside, not going to be much of a factor, I should say, when pulling characters, but his command center ability has now created a new excellent combo of operators for the trading post, replacing the Lapland Texas Exia combo to become the new second best. Won't go into detail here, but basically put him in the command center, put people like Silverash, Cliffheart, and Jay in a trading post, and you get a massive boost to your trading post time. Alright, other things, we've got Paradox simulations and operator records for Matterhorn, Cliffheart, Promanix, and Silverash. RIP Courier. Chinese voiceovers for a whole bunch of characters, including all the new ones. So they're really accelerating the rate at which they're adding the Chinese voiceovers. And here we come to something that a lot of people have been interested in, myself included, is what is the new operator modules for the Dual Strike Guards and the DP on Kill Vanguards. So we'll look at the Dual Strike Guards first. For Cutter, Tachanka, Bybeak, and Chen. For the most part, they just get a bit of a stat boosts, generally boost their damage, some of them boost a bit of survivability. The special buff, this is usually where you get to see if the module makes a difference. So for Cutter, it allows her to ignore some defense. For the other 3, it increases their skill damage by 10%. Sadly, this is extremely underwhelming. It does not do enough to really lift this archetype out of the hole that it's in, particularly for Chen, because she's the 6-star and she's the one that needs the biggest buff, because she's just not worth pulling as a 6-star, and the resources it takes to pull her and the resources it takes to build her is just nowhere near on the same level as most other 6-stars. And unfortunately, a 10% increase to skill damage, which was not her weakness, that's not where she had a problem, is just not going to make enough of a difference. It would have been much better to give something that increases her SP generation so that she could use her skills more. The skills are the only thing that make her of any use. When she doesn't use her skills, she just just doesn't do enough. For Bybeak, it's fine, because Bybeak is just about spamming that stun. So, whatever. Tachanka's, unfortunately, is also kind of lame for him. What Tachanka should have had, he should have had the same as Cutter, which ignores defense. But for Cutter, that's a decent one. She's a 4-star though. She wasn't really suffering. She had her niche, she had her uses, and this is just a general boost to her. But yeah, very disappointed for what they've given for Chen, especially because on the banner pulling for Genosis, I got damn Chen along the way. I have never been so disappointed to pull a 6-star in my life, even more so than Passenger. Now, the DPS Kill Vanguards. This is a complete opposite, because their buffs are excellent. This is for Vigna, Reed, Wildmane, Granny, and Bagpipe. Get to Bagpipe in a moment. First, Vigna and Reed, they get boost to HP, boost to attack, and they now do a bonus 15% damage to enemies below 40% HP, which is really good, particularly for Vigna, because Vigna's main strength is her high attack, and this is just making her do that little bit extra damage. When I used her on my Undertides account, I found that the further I got, the more her damage just wasn't enough. She wasn't carrying her weight as much as she should, so this just helps. Granted, I think the module requirement is a bit too high for 4-star units, because you need to go to E240, which for me, 4 stars are budget units, and you shouldn't have to go that high to get the module for a 4-star. For a 6-star, by all means, make it high. But for a 4-star, I don't know, I think even just E2 level 1 should be fine. Hell, I wouldn't even say it would be the wrong decision to make it E1 60, but I suppose they're trying to encourage people to put the resources into going to E2. Wildmane, Granny, and Bagpipe, for the most part, again, a boost to offense, except for Granny, it's pure survivability in the stat boosts. Bagpipe is increased HP and plus 50 attack, which she did not need, she already does so much damage. Wildmane, bit of a attack and attack speed boost. But their special buff is they now get 2 DP on every kill instead of 1. And they get 100% refund on retreat every time they retreat. Previously, it was just, I believe, for the first time they retreated. Now it's every time. But it's really that first half, increasing the DP generation. Obviously, the biggest benefactor of this is Bagpipe, who's already a top tier unit. And now this Vanguard who can somehow hold lane like a guard, whether it's against a stream of moderate enemies with skill 2 or the occasional tough enemy with skill 3, she can now do even more damage, has even more survivability, and will be giving you even more DP. I mean, come on. Like, you just look at the Bagpipe buff versus Chen, it's just no comparison. Bagpipes is so much better and she didn't need it. They could have just outright skipped Bagpipe and it would have been perfectly fair. Oh my god. So yes, Bagpipe is even better. Chen is completely underwhelming. Unfortunately, because buffs only come around every once in a while, you're probably looking at maybe another 6 months before they might touch Chen and her kin with buffs. So yeah, unfortunate for Chen fans, big up for Bagpipe fans. And then to finish off, a few other minor things. I'm going to pick out what's relevant. So there is just a few UI improvements and things are just a little bit more optimized. One thing to note, this is maybe very important. They've added a bit of extra clarification on the costume vouchers that you get for when you already own a costume of the normal version of an operator and the Ultra version of that operator comes out. Those now say you cannot buy Live2D skins, which means Live2D skins are on the way. Now there will be a Live2D Phantom skin with the Integrated Strategies event coming up. Also, this might also be a hint at the return of the Rainbow Six Siege collab event, which had obviously limited operator Ashe, and she had a skin as well during that event. If they do the same as they have done with all other limited operators, she will get Live2D. So maybe it's also referring to that. Hopefully, it is a hint that Rainbow Six is coming back. Now, I already have all the Rainbow Six characters, so for me, it doesn't matter. But I think everybody who missed out on Ashe or who wasn't playing at the time absolutely deserves a chance to get her, because I think she's excellent. One of my favorite characters, and for the longest time, she was my home screen. And so that's it for these patch notes. Now, keep in mind, most, if not all of this, won't come to global for another 6 months. We might get a few of the bug fixes and the convenience features, the UI update stuff. We might get that early because we have had some of that come early for us before. But the modules, the operators, the event and all that, very likely you're going to have to wait 6 months. So far, I'm very pleased with this event. It's very interesting. The new enemies and the new mechanics are really fun. There's a great environmental effect which creates some very funny moments. I won't give it away for those who don't want to be spoiled by it. Look forward to breaking the ice. Certainly one to keep an eye out for. I hope you found this video useful. Please like and share. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.